She was crying when Bruce Lee walked past. Not the polite tears of someone hurt feelings, the broken, silent crying of someone whose dignity had just been publicly dismantled in front of 200 strangers. And Bruce Lee, the man who had spent 30 years understanding the difference between dominance and mastery, understood immediately what had happened. He stopped. He listened. And 7 seconds later, the man who had humiliated her was on the ground, unable to understand what had just occurred. This is the story of a Friday afternoon on Hollywood Boulevard in 1971 when a girl learned that sometimes a single moment can change everything. And a martial artist learned that true strength is not about winning fights. It is about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Hollywood Boulevard, California, Los Angeles. August 13, 1971, Friday afternoon, 3:45 p.m. The sun is intense, heat rising off the concrete in visible waves. The sidewalk is crowded with tourists and locals mixed together in that particular way Los Angeles crowds move. Individuals separated by phones and distance despite standing shoulder to shoulder. Street musicians play for tips outside the Chinese theater. A man in a Superman costume poses for photos. Vendors sell Hollywood memorabilia. The air smells like traffic exhaust, roasted nuts from a street vendor, and that specific Hollywood smell of possibility mixed with desperation. The crowd is thick, but not impenetrable. 200 people occupy the 3-block stretch of Hollywood Boulevard where the incident is about to unfold. Most are moving, some are stationary, nobody is paying complete attention to anything. Nobody expects violence on Hollywood Boulevard at 3:45 on a Friday afternoon. They are wrong. His name was Marcus Sullivan, 28 years old, 6 feet tall, 210 pounds. The defending United States Karate Championship Heavyweight Division, 3 consecutive years holding the title, never lost a match. 87 consecutive victories spanning 5 years. He had been on television, he had endorsement deals with karate equipment companies, he had a photo shoot scheduled for Muscle and Fitness magazine next week. He wore expensive clothes, drove an expensive car, lived in a house in the Hollywood Hills that cost more than most people made in a decade. Success looked like Marcus Sullivan. But success had made him cruel. Years of dominance without significant resistance had worn away the restraint that prevents powerful people from using their power unnecessarily. He had won so many times that winning was no longer victory, it was just his natural state. And when someone challenged that state, his response was not to fight, it was to humiliate. To prove not just that he could win, but that the person facing him was fundamentally weak, fundamentally inferior, fundamentally unworthy of his time. The girl was named Sarah Chen. 22 years old. 5 foot 4 inches. 115 pounds. No karate background. No martial arts training beyond a year of community center classes abandoned after her first sparring session left her bruised and frightened. She was not a fighter, she was not a competitor, she was just someone walking down Hollywood Boulevard heading toward the film festival office where she worked as an administrative assistant. Making minimum wage, living in a shared apartment with 3 roommates, trying to build a life in Los Angeles the way thousands of other young people tried to build lives in Los Angeles. She was unremarkable to everyone around her. Just another young woman on Hollywood Boulevard, invisible to the crowd, indistinguishable from 100 others. She would not have been visible to anyone if Marcus Sullivan had not decided to make her visible. And not visible in a way she wanted. Sarah saw the crowd first, gathered on the sidewalk, blocking the path, moving in one direction. She almost walked around them, but something in the energy made her stop. "What is happening?" she asked an older woman near the edge of the crowd. "A demonstration," the woman said. "That karate champion from television. He is showing people his moves. You should watch. Remarkable stuff." Sarah looked into the crowd. Sure enough, there was Marcus Sullivan in the center of a clearing on the sidewalk, wearing his karate gi, performing techniques for an audience of tourists and locals. He was genuinely impressive. Fast, powerful, controlled, the crowd was watching with the appreciation people give to genuine skill. But then something shifted. Something cruel. Marcus pointed at Sarah. "You, come here." Sarah felt her stomach drop. "Come here," he repeated. The crowd was looking at her now. Hundreds of eyes. Sarah shook her head. "No thank you, I appreciate the offer." Marcus laughed, not a friendly laugh, The laugh of someone who had decided something unpleasant was about to happen and was already enjoying the anticipation. Come here or admit you are afraid of me in front of all these people. Choose. Sarah wanted to walk away. Part of her tried to walk away, but part of her understood the mathematics of the moment. If she walked away, she was confirming what he was saying. She was proving his point publicly, so she stepped forward. Into the circle. Into the space Marcus had cleared for himself. 200 people now recognized they were about to see something. The crowd compressed, tightened its circle around the clearing. Everyone was paying attention. This was no longer a casual street demonstration. This was something else. Nobody would be able to look away even if they wanted to. The energy had changed. The crowd could feel it the way crowds feel these things. The specific quality of attention that develops when people sense they are about to witness either skill or cruelty or both. Phones came out. A few people started recording on the video cameras they were carrying. This being 1971, when video cameras were still new enough to be special. Street musicians stopped playing to watch. Tour guides paused their scripts. Even the Superman costume performer stepped aside to see. 200 witnesses. Random strangers who would disperse within minutes, returning to their individual lives, carrying with them a story about something they saw on Hollywood Boulevard. None of them knew they were about to witness something that would matter, not just because of what happened next, but because of what one person in the crowd was about to choose to do about it. Marcus started with a demonstration, not at full contact. He showed Sarah his basic stance, his hand positions, explained his form, very educationally at first. Sarah tried to listen, tried to understand, tried to be a good audience member for this public performance she had been drafted into. Then Marcus said, "Now you attack me, punch me, try to hit me as hard as you can." Sarah hesitated. She did not want to punch Marcus Sullivan, did not want this physical contact. "Do not be afraid," Marcus said to her, loud enough for the crowd to hear. He was already performing the cruelty. "I will not hurt you. I am a professional, just try." His tone was reasonable, his words were inviting. But his eyes were watching the crowd, not watching Sarah. He was playing to them, setting up the humiliation. Sarah raised her fist. No formal fighting stance, just a girl attempting to do what she was being told to do in front of 200 people. Her punch was slow, awkward, untrained. Marcus did not defend. He simply stood still and let her punch him. Her fist connected with his chest. Barely, the force was minimal. A child's punch, really. Marcus did not move. Then he said, "Now let me show you what a real punch looks like." He threw a controlled punch at her shoulder, low power, but still. Still a punch aimed at her body from a man who had defeated 87 opponents. Sarah felt the impact. Not damage, but shock. The realization that he could hurt her if he chose to. She stumbled backward one step. The crowd murmured. Then Marcus did it again. Another punch. This time to her other shoulder. Then another. Then a kick. Still controlled, still not full contact, but enough. Enough to make her stumble. Enough to make her flinch. Enough to demonstrate to everyone watching that she was nothing, that the gap between his skill and her skill was not bridgeable, that his dominance was absolute and unquestionable. Sarah was trying not to cry, trying to maintain some dignity. But as Marcus threw one more punch, one more demonstration of the gap between them, her eyes betrayed her. Tears started. Silent at first, then visible. Her face crumpled, and the crowd, instead of stopping to feel concern, started to laugh. Just a few at first. Then more. The sound of 200 people laughing at a young woman being publicly humiliated by a man who had decided that was entertainment. That is when Bruce Lee stepped into the circle. He did not push through the crowd. He moved through it the way water moves through a screen, not fighting it, just flowing around it, and somehow ending up inside. He was wearing black pants and a simple black shirt, unremarkable clothes. He looked smaller than everyone expected a martial artist to look. 5'7" next to Marcus Sullivan's 6 feet. 135 pounds next to 210. The proportions were wrong. The visual was all wrong. Which is why nobody in the crowd recognized what was about to happen. Bruce walked directly to Marcus Sullivan and spoke quietly. Only Marcus and Sarah could hear. "You have demonstrated your power. Now I will demonstrate something else. He said it not as a threat, not as a challenge, but as a statement of fact. The way a teacher states something that is about to become obvious. Marcus looked at this small man in black clothes. His first reaction was to laugh. You? A street demonstration is not a movie set, kid. I will hurt you for real. Bruce nodded calmly. I understand. You have already hurt someone who could not defend herself. Now let me defend her. The next 7 seconds unfolded in a way that 200 people would spend years trying to accurately describe and never quite manage it. Marcus threw a punch, fast, powerful, the kind of punch that had won him 87 fights. Bruce was not where the punch was going. His body had moved offline by less than 2 inches. Just enough. Marcus's momentum carried him forward and Bruce's right hand touched his wrist. Not blocked. Redirected, Marcus's arm went past Bruce's body and Marcus found himself overextended. Off balance. Second. Bruce's left hand came up and touched Marcus's throat. Not struck. Touched. The precision was absolute. The message was clear. 1 more inch of force and this would be over. Marcus realized with complete clarity that he had just made the worst mistake of his professional career. He had challenged someone who was operating on a completely different level. 3. Bruce stepped around Marcus's right side while maintaining hand control. The positioning changed. Marcus found himself sideways to Bruce. His back exposed. His body turned. 4. Bruce's left leg swept Marcus's front leg, not aggressively, just placed. At the exact moment when Marcus's weight was most committed, the geometry was simple and unavoidable. 5. Marcus went down, not crashed down, descended down. Bruce guided the fall with the hand still in contact with his wrist. Controlled, safe, educational. 6. Bruce's knee was at Marcus's chest, not crushing. Positioned, his hand at Marcus's throat, not choking. Demonstrating the entire sequence occupied 7 seconds. Marcus Sullivan had been completely neutralized by someone half his weight without significant force, without injury, without anything but precision and understanding of how the human body actually works. Bruce released immediately. He helped Marcus to his feet with the same courtesy he would show a training partner. The crowd had stopped laughing. The energy in the space had completely inverted. Marcus was breathing hard, not from exhaustion, but from shock. From the understanding that everything he thought he knew about fighting was incomplete. Bruce spoke to him quietly, but loud enough for the crowd to hear because what he said next was not just for Marcus, it was for everyone. Strength without wisdom is cruelty. You have strength, you have skill, but you used both to hurt someone weaker. This was not demonstration. This was cowardice. It was easy to hurt her because she could not fight back. Real demonstration is teaching. Real skill is control. Real strength is restraint. You just learned that true mastery is being able to do anything and choosing to do nothing. He paused. Learn this lesson well. Next time, maybe you will make the right choice. Marcus stood there humiliated now, not by the defeat, by the truth. The truth that Bruce had just forced him to confront in front of 200 people. That he had been cruel. That he had been using his power not to demonstrate skill, but to exercise dominance over someone vulnerable. Sarah was still standing where Marcus had left her. Bruce walked to her. He did not touch her, just looked at her with complete kindness in his eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked. She nodded, tears still on her face. "You did nothing wrong," he said. "You were brave to step forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite fear. You showed that." He turned to face the crowd. "Everyone here, remember what you saw. Remember that true strength is not about winning. It is about protecting. It is not about dominance. It is about service. It is not about proving yourself superior. It is about elevating others. This is martial arts at its truest. Not performance, not ego. Protection." Bruce Lee turned and walked back through the crowd the way he had entered. Flowing, not fighting. Within seconds he had vanished into the Hollywood Boulevard afternoon. The crowd stood stunned for a moment, 200 people processing what they had just witnessed. Then conversations started. Excited conversations. confused conversations. Conversations that would be repeated in homes and workplaces and coffee shops for weeks. Marcus Sullivan was helped to his feet by concerned bystanders. He looked at Sarah, the look of someone who had just had his entire worldview revised. "I am sorry," he said quietly. "I was cruel. I was using my power to hurt. That was wrong." Sarah nodded. "Yes, it was wrong. But maybe now you learned something. Maybe now you will do better." Marcus left the crowd, did not stay for applause, did not try to recover his reputation with the tourists. He walked back toward his expensive car, his expensive clothes no longer looking like success, looking instead like the uniform of a man who had thought he understood power and had just learned he did not understand anything at all. Sarah Chen went back to work. The film festival office was only 2 blocks away. Her boss asked why she was crying. She said she had just met someone remarkable on Hollywood Boulevard, someone who had shown her that the world is larger and kinder than the moments that frighten us most. The story did not become famous. Nobody published it. The video cameras recording on Hollywood Boulevard never produced footage that circulated. It was just a street story, just an afternoon in 1971 when something important happened to nobody in particular and 200 people who witnessed it. But over the years, those witnesses told the story. They told it to friends, they told it to family. They told it to other martial artists who asked about Bruce Lee. And the story grew like these stories do. It took on details. It was refined. It became more dramatic with each retelling. But the essential truth remained. On Hollywood Boulevard in 1971, a girl was humiliated by a champion. Bruce Lee stepped in. 7 seconds later, the champion was on the ground. The girl was protected. And the crowd had learned something about what true strength actually is. Sarah Chen trained at Bruce Lee's school in Chinatown starting the following Tuesday. She never became a fighter, never competed. But she learned enough to understand that her body was capable of more than the fear told her. She learned that martial arts was not about victory, it was about understanding. She went on to open a youth center in East Los Angeles teaching self-defense to young women. For 40 years she taught them that strength does not mean becoming violent. It means becoming capable. It means understanding your body. It means knowing that fear is information, not instruction. And every time she taught, she would tell them about the afternoon on Hollywood Boulevard and the martial artist who taught her that real power is knowing when not to use it. Marcus Sullivan never returned to competitive karate. He got out of tournaments entirely. But he did something different. He opened a gym in downtown Los Angeles that taught martial arts to underprivileged kids. Kids who could not afford fancy dojo fees. Kids who needed to know they had value, they had worth, they could build something. For 30 years he taught them. And every year on August 13th, the anniversary of the day on Hollywood Boulevard, he would tell his students about the afternoon he learned humility, about the mistake he made, about the martial artist who beat him in 7 seconds and then helped him up, about what true strength looks like. The 200 people in the crowd dispersed. But they carried the story. It became legend in martial arts circles in Los Angeles. The day Bruce Lee protected a girl on Hollywood Boulevard. The day a champion learned his limitations. The day strength met something stronger. Which is always the deepest lesson. There is always someone who knows more. There is always someone stronger. But true mastery is knowing that strength is nothing without wisdom. That power without compassion is cruelty. That victory over someone weaker is not victory. It is cowardice. And that sometimes the greatest technique is simply choosing not to use the power you possess. 200 witnesses, 1 week, 7 seconds that taught a lesson that echoed for decades. That is the real story. Not the fighting, the teaching, not the victory, the growth. Not the moment of dominance, the moment of understanding that dominance is worthless compared to the moment when someone learns they are capable of choosing to be kind instead.